Hello, my name is Joe and I am with the Idea to Products Lab. We are a on-campus resource here for all CSU students. We offer services in 3D printing and 3D scanning, and we have free trainings to let you know how to use those resources. And we're located here in the basement of Engineering B7B, so come check us out. So here at Idea to Products, we have several different types of printers, but the primary one we'll be using is the Mini. It uses basically just plastic filament, and it'll push that filament through a super hot nozzle, just like a hot glue gun, and it'll lay down that hot filament on this base plate. And it'll first draw the outline of the part, and then fill it in like a coloring book, and then move up a layer. So it continues layer by layer until you have a finished part. We'll show you kind of how to start a print on one of these later, but let's move on to kind of the bigger brother of the Mini, the Taz. This is almost exactly the same, except it has an onboard computer, so there's a few different steps about it, but basically the main advantage is that it has a much bigger build volume. So this is an example of a print printed on a Taz 6. You can see it is fairly high detail, but if you do want something that is even higher resolution, we have what's called SLA printing. So these are two examples of the exact same file, just printed on a much smaller scale. And this is one of the SLA printers we have. It's called the Stratasys Object. And basically the difference between that printer and some of these other, the Wolfsbots that we have, is it shines a light on a resin, and that resin will solidify, and you'll have a solid part that is a much higher resolution, and you can also get more intricate features. This was printed on the object using a support material that can just be washed out with water, so you can print this whole part in just one piece. Amazing. So some other SLA printers we have available at the Idea to Products Lab are the Autodesk Ember and the EnvisionTech. The Autodesk Ember has a lot higher resolution even than the object, but also a smaller build volume. It's just about the size of a playing card. And then our EnvisionTech, a little bit bigger build volume, and it also has a lot of different materials you can print with. And then this is just our curing oven for post-processing your finished SLA print. We also have 3D scanners here at Idea to Products. Basically, they just take a physical object. Once you scan it, it goes onto the computer as a 3D file. We have two different types. The 3D Systems Sense scanner and the Creaform Handy Scan. The Sense is almost like an Xbox Kinect in that it uses two cameras and just takes the position of objects it sees, converts it to a file on the computer. It's fairly easy to use, whereas the Creaform Handy Scan is a little bit more difficult, but it uses lasers to get even more precise than the Sense scanner, almost down to about 0.2 millimeters. And we do offer trainings here free for users. So I'll just run you through how to set up a basic print in Cura, either for the Mini or the Taz. So here we are in Cura, and basically what you're going to want to do first is just load your model in. You'll have some .stl files saved, and you can just open that directly from your computer. So here we have the Wolfsbot Rocktopus. And basically from here you're going to select your machine, make sure you have your correct machine. We have Mini, we'll run through that first. And then you'll go to your expert settings, or to the expert tab, and you'll click switch to quick print. This is basically just to change the material, make sure you're on the correct material settings. So you'll go to material ease of use and you'll select all. And that'll give you the list of all your options for different kinds of material. We a lot of times print with the Nova 1800, so we'll just use that. And really, this is all you need to start a print. This is kind of what we recommend for your first couple prints here at I2P. And it usually turns out just fine. But if you do need a few more settings changed, you can go back to Expert and then switch to full settings. It'll ask you if you want to copy the settings from Quick Print to your full settings, and you'll just click yes. So these are all the default settings for the material we just chose, Innova 1800. And you can change these if you want to. Typically these work just great, but you may need some of these different settings like support material or platform adhesion type. So if you have any overhangs or anything, you'll want to choose that everywhere selection for support material. This particular file doesn't have any overhangs. It's fairly flat against the bed, so we're looking good there, so I'm going to go back to none. Also, platform adhesion type, we recommend a brim if you're doing very large prints, especially on the TAS 6. Those can get very big and warp a lot of times, so that brim just adds a few extra layers on the first layer, just to keep that surface area in contact with the build plate throughout the duration of the print. So as long as all these settings look good, and you can even analyze your file a little bit more by going to the view modes and all the way to the bottom in layers, and you can take a look at each one of these layers and make sure they look okay. But as long as these settings look good, you can go right on to your control window, and the first thing you'll want to do before you even hit print is just heat up your nozzle. We recommend about 215 degrees Celsius for that temperature. It won't burn PLA, which is kind of a lower temperature material, and it will still extrude ABS. So that's a nice mid-range temperature we like to use when you're switching materials. So once the nozzle, it'll show up here. Once it gets to that 215 temperature, it'll also show on this graph. Once it gets to that temperature, you can feel free to switch those materials, push through your material until you see it coming through, not the old material from the past user. And then you can, typically I like to close out of the control window again, just make a quick double check on all my settings. Again, for quick print settings you don't need to do that, but if you have these advanced settings, make sure they all look good again. Open your control window and hit print. And that's kind of the process for that Lulzbot Mini. If we do want to print on the Lulzbot TAS 6, the only main difference is you're going to have an SD card, and instead of the control window, it should say saved G code. There it is right there. So you'll have all these settings, everything will be predefined, and you'll just click save as G code and just insert an SD card into your computer and save it on that SD card. And you should be good to go to print with that. The Lulzbot TAS. Also make sure you switch your machine. But yeah, that's kind of a basic walkthrough of Cura and how to set up prints with a Lulzbot TAS or a Lulzbot Mini. If you have any other questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to us at I2P lab at rams.collegestate.edu.